was watching this video where a person asked a spiritual teacher a question that whether or not our life was planned from the beginning to the end or not. And then the teacher said that his belief is that there is no plan at all, like as if God was a woman and it's kind of a sexist way of saying this, but he said that God, even if it had written a plan, it would be changing it all the time. So we have no idea where our life's going. And he also said like anyway, my opinion is that what I think is closer to the truth is there isn't such a like the whole universe, the existence, the way it's involving our world, humanity, everybody. It's not like planned in a way that we understand the concept of planning. Like everything's written and everything's involving following the written script. What I understand is like the written script is not like separated from the subject, our life. For example, we are not like separated from God's plan, if there is one. It is not, at least that's for us humans, that's how we understand the concept of planning, right? The plan itself is separated from the things that you make the plan for. But what's more true is that the plan itself is inherent inside the thing that the plan is made for, and in which sense what I'm describing is kind of very inaccurate and very meaningless. Because if the plan is inherent in a thing that the plan is made for, then this whole description is completely in contradiction with this idea that I'm trying to express. You can no longer speak of a plan kind of in a way that it's something that you can really just look at apart from the thing that the plan is made for. This whole sentence doesn't make any sense. It's completely meaningless regarding the idea that I'm trying to express here. For example, I can give you an example. What I believe the world is like is, it's not like everything is completely random, like in disorder. That's completely something that I know is not true. Disorder doesn't exist in existence. What I believe, nothing is redundant in existence. Everything is there for a reason. Everything. But again, when I say these words, it's really just because we already have our own definitions of these words, such as reason or these concepts, and which I believe are completely very different from the truth, So, but let's focus on the focus of this video, which is the plan. So, there is no disorder, but also there is not a plan. So what this whole thing is like, is just like, I give you an example, which is like the plant. A plant grows. A plant grows from a seed into a plant. A seed sprouts and grows into a plant. The seed, first of all, it doesn't have a plan. It just, because the sun comes and the water lands on it it gets enough. It's just a spontaneous, non-stoppable result of the seed. It's something completely spontaneous, non-stoppable, and it looks as if it was a written plan that the seed will sprout into a plant if it gets sun and water. But from the seed's perspective, there is no plan for anything. It just is, the whole thing just is. Every single part of the process just is. The process itself just is. And there is not a plan. It's just something completely spontaneous. For example, for example, let me think of a good opinion. A good example. When your stomach is empty, you feel hunger, you experience hunger. And this whole thing isn't a plan, it's completely spontaneous and non-stoppable, right? It just is. But these examples are not entirely accurate because I don't know how to describe. So our existence, our humanity is evolving, and it is evolving spontaneously. It is not disorder. It is just what is. Damn, I think I lost it. It's just like a seed that sprouts and into plant and flower. It's a process. You can say, so from that perspective, the two paths that we discussed in the beginning, they merge into exactly just one single path. There's no more separation between these two paths, which are either there's a plan for everything. Everything happens following a plan, or everything happens just completely randomly. Now they're all one and the same. It's just a completely spontaneous and unstoppable process, completely natural, yet not in disorder at all. You can say it can look completely random at the same time, and it can look like it has a perfect plan. Like when you look at a seed, it sprouts into a plant. It can appear to be completely random from a perspective. It can also appear to be a completely planned process. But for the seed, it's just something that happens spontaneously. It's a spontaneous, non-stoppable result of a seed getting enough sunshine and water, nutrition. And so also, it's something similar like asking, is there free will, or there's a plan for us? And these two paths aren't separate. There is both free will and a plan, and so the resolution is that the plan of our life is also our free will. I think a person who is a philosopher or gave a perfect example, which is you see the moon. The moon. What's the verb? Damn it. Let me just use my own English. The moon walks rounds around the earth, right? It is from our one perspective is that the moon does not have a choice, but it has to go around the earth because it has to, because of the gravity and the rules of the universe. it is like a plan, right? It's something that the moon can't choose. It just has to go this way. And then the philosopher said, but if the moon had a free will, had consciousness, the moon would feel like that it's choosing to go around the earth exactly the way it's doing now. If you get what I'm saying. And that is the perfect explanation of how having free will and having also no other choice in life is, they are one and the same thing rather than two things that are in complete contradiction with each other. Another good example that I thought of is that you like, let's say you love strawberry flavored ice cream. Every time you go to an ice cream shop, you always pick your favorite flavor, which is the blueberry flavored ice cream. And for somebody who doesn't, license see an alien just stands there and watch you, they don't know your thinking process. Every single time you go and you get blueberry ice cream, every single time for 100 times already, because you just love it too much. But the alien watching you from the outside would think, okay, you must be programmed somehow to do this thing over and over again. But you do it because you want to do it, because you like to do it. And also for you don't have a choice to choose whether or not you will like strawberry, what's the blueberry flavored ice cream or not. You don't have a choice to decide what you like or not like in your life. For example, you have no choice to fall in love with anybody. Like, you never ever choose to fall in love with anyone. It just happens, right? But when it happens, it feels like it's all of your free will. It's completely your free will. Your life doesn't feel like it's a prison. That, oh, I am imprisoned because I can't control who to like. In fact, you don't want to be able to control or choose consciously who you will fall in love with, which doesn't really make any sense at all. Anyway, do you get it? Like, even another very interesting example is, let me just ask you to now think of a random thing. Anything. Now, just in your head, think of a random thing now. And what comes in your mind? Let's say it's a monkey. Okay, for me it's a monkey. Okay, I think of a random thing is a monkey. But did I really choose to think a monkey, or the monkey just jumped in my head? Like, I did not have any choice. For me, for you too, the experience is that, okay, I'm gonna think of a random thing now, and the thing showed up. We didn't have any choice to choose what to think, but the thing showed up in our mind. The same thing, it's the same with every single thought that comes into our mind. Every single day, every thought that we ever think, they all just show up automatically on their own. Not automatically, I don't know, but on their own, like completely out of our choices. We don't choose what thought to think. Even what I'm talking about, every word that comes into my mind, it's not my choice. They just show up, and I am just speaking them out. Even if you can say there is, as if there's a thinking process. Yes, there is a thinking process, but what is driving this thinking process? What exactly, if you actually look at it and think about it, what is driving your thinking process? There's nothing there. Every next thought that comes into your mind, it just comes into your mind. You never got to choose anything at all. And you might, I don't know, some people might really just freak out at this moment. But what I want to say is, don't freak out, because you are all of this. You are this whole thing. You are your life. You're not separated from your life. You're not just this one little character that is speaking or listening. You are also all of your experiences, all of your life experience, the whole life that you live, including the thoughts that come into your mind. You're not just the receiver of the thought. You are the whole experience of life, not just this body with a name, like an experiencer of things, but you are the whole, anything that your life is about is you. You're not just this one little character in your body. In fact, it actually, I've come to a point to realize that it makes completely zero sense to assume that we are our body. In fact, the idea that we are our body, our skin is the border between ourselves and the outer world is just a agreement. It is not a fact in and of itself, but just an agreement, an assumption. You just think about it, because we all just agreed that we want to make our skin the border to define between ourselves and the outer world. But in fact, how can you tell that? What are your reasons to prove that you are this thing inside of your skins, and anything outside of your skin is not you? How do you define the idea of you? In fact, does the idea of you even exist in and of itself? It's a very complicated question, and many of the things in our experience that we take for granted are just agreements that we just never gave a thought about, which can make our lives feel very lonely, disconnected, and meaningless. Really. Once you really give these thoughts a go, well, you don't have to worry about these. Like, you don't have to, feel like, okay, then I'm in a hurry, I want to figure these out. Just relax, and there's a timing for you. Like I said, what I've known about soul planning is that we had all planned our lives before we came into this world. But what they say is we plan the biggest things, biggest events, such as the most important people in our life, such as we choose our parents, siblings, and our best friends, and our partners, the most important people that will show up in our lives. And these things. And we also set some exit points, which are possible death points for us to leave this life, So, there's not a single death that ever happened that appeared to be an accident that are actually accidental. They are not accidental. They are all planned. They are all not a single death ever happened is an accident. Is something not expected, or is not right timing for the soul itself. It's always known beforehand. You always know beforehand when you're gonna die and things like that. So when you see people, maybe you have people in your life that have committed suicide, and you might feel guilty for that you have maybe done something to push them to have done that, or you could have done something to have saved them. But keep these thoughts out of your mind, because that's not possible. If that person successfully killed themselves, it means it's their time to die at that point. If it is not the right time for them to die at that point, they wouldn't be able to kill themselves. Because I've also heard of, these just extremely strange cases where people really try to kill themselves at home alone, and just something had to happen. Something literally just happened to save them. I hear this one thing from a friend of mine that I had. They said that once they tried to hang themselves after their roommates gone to work, and I think, was this something, the rope didn't work properly, that the rope just hung them half, not entirely, so not their entire body was hung by the rope. So I think half of the weight was supported by the floor, and half the weight was hung by the rope. So it didn't kill them completely. So they were just hanging there, like not dead, and just long enough for their roommates have forgotten, their housemate had just very accidentally happened to have forgotten their some stuff, so came back to grab something and to be able to save them. So these things would definitely happen to someone that tries to commit suicide, but it's not the right time for them to die. And these things, and nothing would have happened to save someone who is the right time for them to die, and they commit suicide around that time. And in fact, for someone who needs to die at a certain point of time and they don't commit suicide, something would happen to take them. Like an accident, something like a car accident or something. It's all planned. It's all planned by themselves, their soul. That's not their human side, but the soul that knows everything, and your soul also knows their death too. Your soul definitely knows everybody that's related to you and their deaths. Nothing is ever an accident. But that's what I've read, and I completely resonate with this. I think it's absolutely true, and I don't know if it resonates with you, but I think it would resonate with anybody who's open for this truth. What I'm trying to say here is that there's really nothing left for you to worry about. There's really no space for guilt or shame or any negative emotion. In truth, there is really any explanation that you need about your life, any answer you need for any of the questions you have about life or anything, would leave you no space for shame or unworthiness or anything negative about you, about the world. All the answers that you can find in truth, the true answers, will only really just give you, make you, let you know that you're always loved. And there's no space for the possibility that you are ever less loved than anybody else. That you're ever less than love. That's what I'm trying to express here. So actually, if you hear anything, that's the only standard that you need to judge if something is true for you. When you hear something, does it make you feel more alive? Does it make you feel, whatever it is, whoever said it, however many people agree with that, if you hear something, as somebody says, or written somewhere, if it makes you feel more alive, makes you feel genuinely energized, more inspired, encouraged, that is true for you. If it's the opposite, if it makes you feel less alive, makes you feel, like more withered, like a flower withered, or you feel more, you feel like, what I mean, like you're more drained, you feel like discouraged, you feel less loved, genuinely feeling you feel like you somehow feel more unworthy, anything that pushes you to the other end of love, the other end of the spectrum of love, that is not true for you. It doesn't ring true for you. Then don't take it. Whatever it is, whoever says it can be Jesus. Maybe Jesus says something like that, or Jesus wrote something in a book, and you read it. If that makes you feel less loved, makes you feel less alive, and it doesn't ring true for you, it doesn't mean that Jesus is not saying or something for you. It's just that thing, because we use language in this world, and language is full of misunderstandings. Language is completely subjective from the expressor, subjective to the reader. There's just so many possibilities for misunderstanding to seep in and to not make the true message conveyed. That's the reason why one same thing can be taken for truth for so many people, and for completely false for others. So don't feel the pressure if you encounter something, whatever it is, a book, a movie, a line, a spiritual teacher that so many people just love and take for truth, and you don't at all. Follow what's true for you. You don't follow other people. You don't follow other people's opinions, because they're completely subjective. They've not lived your life. They don't know your perspective. You shouldn't make their truths yours. But there's only literally just one truth that's right for everybody, which that is love. Love and love. You are loved, and you are always loved, and you are loved as much as anybody in the whole existence that you can think of. That is true. That is true. Anything that talks you out of this is not true. The only truth is love. The only truth is that. And thank you for watching this video.